Yeah, I'm a trader of sorts, not of gizmos and gadgets, but of names. Could I interest you with the name Cordelia, Octavia, Tavi, Hildegard, Gregorio, or maybe Imogen? These are some actually recommended names from the name savant of our generation, Taylor A. Humphrey. Now, before we get too far into this, I gotta air my dirty laundry a little bit. Full disclosure, my name is Taryn. It's been a battle I've fought my whole life. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. The sweet spot my parents were shooting for is a name that you might have heard of, like you're not gonna question that it's a real name, but that's about as far as it goes. In my entire life, I've never met another male Taryn, and I've met 3 female my whole life, and I've been looking for them, man. I've been scouring the earth. I'm the only freaking male Taryn that has ever existed, I think. So that's been tough. It's kind of nice that people don't get you mixed up. Like, at least I ain't freaking the 10th Ben to roll up to the school, Ben 10, literally. But I can't tell you how many times I've been on the phone and I've been like, my name is Taryn. They're like, Karen? Your name is Karen? That'll really whittle you down, man. I tell you what. So Taylor Humphrey is a lady from San Francisco. Her name, her title is baby name consultant, and she charges up to 30 grand to name people's babies. And I know what you guys are thinking, though. This is like the AI dog ads, Instagram or TikTok. Like, yes, it's there. Nobody pays for it, though. People pay for it. She has 500 named babies due to her prestige thus far. Absolutely diabolical.
Would you pay $50,000 to a stranger to name your baby? Apparently, there's plenty of people who do. Taylor Humphrey from San Francisco charges between $345,000 to $52,000 for her baby and naming service, and so far she's helped name 500 newborns. Taylor's with me now. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It sounds a lot worse in New Zealand dollars than it does in USD.
I think it sounds bad everywhere, Taylor.
This guy is such a gangster. So, I mean, 50K, 30K, there's a difference, but it's criminal either way. Like, oh, that is a down payment on a house in most states. We're talking a serious chunk of change to name your baby Imogen. What? Imogen? Sorry, this is literally chicken scratch. I've actually been writing in Nordic runes my whole life.
Taylor, we keep quoting this up to $52,000. What was that most expensive baby you named? What was the name, and what justified the price?
So unfortunately, I can't share details. NDAs can be very tough, but I will say that my high-end VIP packages start around $10,000. The majority of my clientele come in at a lower price point. I have packages starting at $200 USD. So there's quite a range there. But parents come to me for a number of different reasons. The most common of which, it's just really hard to name a baby.
So the water becomes a tad bit clearer here. So she has different tiers, different packages that people can pay for, starting at 200, and then the most expensive in this article I was reading, she calls it her bespoke package, is up to 30K. What the actual hell could she be charging 30K for? I mean, we'll break down these packages as we get to it, I'm sure. And I know that she is just sending up a prayer to the Lord Almighty that let her sign an NDA so she didn't have to tell every single person that's seen this video, all 441 people that have seen this video, that the $30,000 gave the person the name Camel Toe 2, Camel Toe Jr. even.
How do you decide? Do you do lots of research about family history and go that way, or are you more of a zucchini, apple, table type person?
So I love a good zucchini apple table kind of name. I think the more creative, the better. But I always defer to the parents. And honestly, I really let the parents lead. I'm just there to kind of help guide the process. I am certainly not there to choose the ultimate name. I really believe that is like a sacred job of a parent. And I'm just there to kind of like offer feedback and insight and guidance.
So you're actually just paying $30,000 for a guide. It's too sacred of a decision for her to choose for you, but it's not sacred enough for you and your significant other to decide together, I suppose. That would be too insane. You need like a Charon to guide you down the river Styx. You could get lost out there. The fact that she says the more creative the name, the better. She loves the name Zucchini. This is so crazy.
Have you ever stopped a name if they've suggested one and you said do not?
I will say I have heard some parents have some pretty wacky ideas. I would say the majority of the parents I work with really want to choose a name that's going to serve their child well throughout their life. But every once in a while you do get a very uniquely spelled name. And I always kind of caution them to just think about like, is this going to be difficult for the barista at Starbucks to spell on their coffee cup every morning?
Beautiful advice. For some reason, the coordinates I was spawned into, people love doing despicable names, despicable spellings of names. I just pulled up a few that I thought were freaking hilarious. Hunter, spelled Hunttyr, real spelling of a person. Peyton, spelled Peytyn. Parker, spelled Parkyr. Riley, spelled Rielee. I've been having to learn these insane spellings of names my whole damn life, bro. It's criminal. And people probably said about my stupid name too. Taren. Well, my parents were like, that's the boy spelling of the name, which they did find in the boys' book of baby names, so I give them some cred, but the girl spelling is normally Taryn. So that separates the two classes, me v 40 people in the United States.
What's the worst name you've heard?
Ooh, I try really hard to avoid saying this because you just never know who's listening if they have just named a child this name. I will say I'm not a fan of really controversial names.
Like what? Adolf or something? I mean, what?
Yeah, that would be a top one. I think that's a tough one because it can be a family name that gets passed down. I think it's a tough one. It doesn't feel quite right to reclaim that name just yet. So no, I do caution parents around those.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
Too soon. Agreed. We can agree on that one, Taylor.
Taylor, what about the names that we're seeing celebrities? I think we mentioned Apple was one of them. Is it okay to just be walking down the street, see a leaf or, a lollipop and that's it?
The interviewer is deflating at this point. The conversation has wrung him out of all his energy and he's falling off the screen. He's like this. Oh, you think Apple's a good name? Oh, you think it's a good name? Shit, I can't do this anymore. It's so funny.
Well, I do think that names reflect our deeper core values. So maybe for someone choosing the name Apple, that does have biblical significance. It's very unique, but it is something that everyone on earth can relate to in some way. I think most people have, know what it's like to like the sensation of biting into an apple. So there is something kind of unifying about some of these more unique, outrageous celebrity or influencer baby names.
I really want people to imagine biting into the name of my baby. That seems awesome. And she's defending these influencer and celebrity names because her recommendations are just as heinous, just as bad. These kids, I'm sorry if your parents used Taylor A. Humphrey to name you. Change your name ASAP, man. How old do you have to be to change your name? Oh shit, 18 years old? Damn, well you got a lot of time to think of a better name than Cordelia. And I'm sorry if anybody watching has some of these names. At least if your name was like Gregorio or some of these, like you could say I'm Greg. Your nicknames are your saving grace with these recommendations.
Yes, I think that there are a lot of things. Telling them off, you're probably going to use that first and middle name. So we want to make sure that the flow, there's some power there. But it's also like, think about what it's like if you hear your kid's coach calling them out on the soccer field, or what it's going to sound like when they're walking across the stage at graduation. Your full name is used, not very often in your life, but in some critical moments. And so we really want to make sure that in those big moments, you're choosing a name that does honor the child that you're naming.
I already know this lady loves alliteration. Your last name is Smith. You're walking away with a Serena Raya. Just saying, there's no chance you're walking away without an S S first name recommendation. The flow, the power. When you walk across and graduate. Dude, you ain't graduating. You're going to get freaking locked in a locker in high school and never escape. The news interview does a pretty great job of summing most of it up, but we're going to look at her website really quick, see if I can find any deets on the packages. The thing you hate to see, prices upon request. Whenever a website has prices upon request, you know it is going to be astronomically high prices. The fact that you can't just say, it's going to cost $200 bottom end, 30 grand top end. Like, I have half a mind to submit an inquiry and try to get a pricing model from her, but I'm worried she's going to find me and hurt me. She's got a story on her Instagram. This might be good. Names inspired by Margaret. Madge. Marketa. Margit. Market, bro. Peg. I swear if in 20 years I meet somebody named Peg because she posted this, I will give them a hug and I will cry with them. I will sob with them. Argy, like Argentavis? Dude. Peggy, like Pegomastax? Dude. No. Pumpkin spice names? What do you mean? Oh, no, these deserve prison time. Birdie Fern. Sutton Lane. Shepherd Twill. No, wait, this post is awesome, the one that she's responding to. I need to screenshot these right now so they don't vanish from me forever. These are insane. These are actually diabolical. She is literally targeting us. Look at this. Don't let epic soy chungus Redditors convince you that a pumpkin spice latte is somehow cringe or basic. The pumpkin, and by extension the pumpkin spice latte, is as American as the cheeseburger and apple pie. It is a drink for Americans, a drink born of the fruits of America. So basically, these names are badass. Golden Heath. That is actually a real life flavor of Heath. I'm almost positive. Well, I better get my epic soy chungus in the freaking trash can after her beat down on me. What I did find is that like the higher price names, she tries to get you a lot of options from your ancestry. Like she like gets like some important family names, but you could just find that stuff yourself on like a genealogy website, right? What's she doing? She's like going to the library and scanning documents till she finds your ancestors? I don't think so. Absolutely insane story. I'm of the firm belief that there is enough people in the world that you can make money doing just about anything if you can get to those people. This girl, as far as we can tell, her real full-time job is naming babies. Maybe she's not raking it in, but she lives in the Bay Area. At least somebody in the household is making serious money. To show off how insane it is, just one last time before I bid you farewell. Names that contain Ash. Dasha. Dashiel. Dasher. Cashton. Rashad. Vashti. Esherin. And the one that I will be using for my own son. Ignatus. Okay, love you gamers, bye.